Hoka hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of July the 4th, 2025, Independence Day here in the U.S. Mars Chronicles, Chapter 18, Treasure Hunt, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, Creek Indian from Denver, Colorado. And with me right now is Lee, and he's from way south of Denver, Colorado, even south of Colorado Springs. How's it going, Lee?
Oh, so far so good.
Cool. Well, it looks like we got all Coloradans here on the panel of two,
Yep.
as it were. So yeah. So how's the writing coming along on your fanfic? Have you?
I finished 29. I was
Nice.
going to have Maxie look it over for me before I post it up on the sites. But of course, he's been writing his own story because he's actually going to publish his. So his is a little bit more important.
Yeah. Well,
but he's been working on his to up to chapter 19, I think. He's finally getting that one out of the way, and he's going to get that one up there.
Cool.
But I've also started on chapter 30.
Wow, I better start. I better get back into it pretty quickly. You're going to have so many chapters I won't be able to catch up. Looks like we got the Bad Man out there. That's pretty good, Bad Man, and we got AKA out there. Oh my gosh, Bad Man! Don't tell me that you are still running Windows XP. Oh my goodness!
No, the XP feature. There's a little crown in the chat bar. It's got 0 XP. Apparently, it's an experience feature.
Oh, I see. I see.
I've never seen before, but that's definitely new. Yeah.
Yeah. No YouTube XP says.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, everything's pretty good here in Denver. I guess it's hot. You know, I think it's what is the temperature out there?
It's 29 Celsius here.
Not
sure what it is up there.
Yeah, it's 82 degrees. That's not too bad. I guess that's about 30, 32 maybe, something like that. So you're further south, so I bet you get a little hotter weather than we do in the summer. So yeah. Okay, well, we got a couple other folks that are coming on probably. I know Angelus, unless he's working. He was lucky to be off last week, so we'll see how it goes. But I did send out some invites. Unfortunately, with Lee, I forgot to get into I forgot to get into Discord and send invites, but I kind of remembered about 45 minutes before the stream, you know, so that's why I was late, Lee. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It happens.
Yep. Whoops. Okay, so we got the LA Fires fundraiser still going on, and we're going to keep it up. I mean, I don't think anyone has, contributed, and that's not right. 113.77. I don't know why that keeps popping. It's really 1,500 is what we've received, and all of the money has gone to the Greater Good charity. So it's just there's nothing outstanding. We've given them all the money, and I actually sent in a bunch of money even before I finally got reimbursed, which they reimbursed me, I think, about 3 weeks ago. So, yep, if you want to, we sure would appreciate, a donation. There you see the link on the screen there below the image, and that link is also down in the description. So you click on it, takes you to the website. You can specify that your donation be anonymous, or you can use your name. I know Angelus and I have used our names. You see Panini Freak has used her actual name, and Flotty, he prefers to keep his name off the internet. That's fine. You can do the same thing. You can use your internet handle, or you can just specify that to be anonymous. But if you can, we sure would appreciate it. No amount is too small. And we still got the Alita sequel petition going on. And I'm not sure how many people we added since last week. Could be 3 or 4. I don't know. Might even be 0. I don't know for sure. I've been holding off on putting more money in because I am promoting it on my YouTube channel. So hopefully people will see it that way. But I think I'm going to have to just break down and put some money in there on change.org, because I think their reach is certainly a lot bigger than mine. That's for sure. So, but anyway, you see there, we're well on the way to 180,000. So, in terms of signatures, and really all you have to do is put your name and address and your email address, or rather, I'm sorry, your name and your email address. And you've signed a petition. If you want to donate, you can, but it's not required. You don't have to. if all you do is sign the petition, you've done your part as an Alita Army type. There's the link you see there below the image on your screen, and you can click on that. Takes you to the website, and that link is also down in the description. So this is our way of reminding Disney, which I'm not sure how much we need to remind them because they already know this. But we're here, we're not going away, and this is how many people want to see the sequel. So, you know, it's a pretty significant, you know, amount. Now, granted, it's not, you know, it's not like worldwide, you know, type thing, but, you know, numbers. But hey, that's pretty significant. That's more signatures than the Snyder Cut got to get their version of Justice League. So we just keep plugging away at them, keep peppering them, as the late, great John Landau said. We just keep peppering them until they cave in. And Alita is on Hulu this month. I'm not sure how long Alita is going to be on Hulu, but they started yesterday, or was it the 2nd? I think it was July 2nd. They started, you know, playing Alita Battle Angel on Hulu. Now, this is only going to be for the folks in Canada and the U.S. Certainly, Alita was playing for a good while on Netflix, and I'm not sure you can get it on Disney Plus. Maybe you can. Internationally, you can't get it on Disney Plus in the U.S. or Canada. So, but Hulu is owned by Disney, so that's probably, you know, their way of, you know, getting the movie out in front of people. So, you know, if you can, you know, kind of watch that. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't disagree with somebody pulling it up on their computer and running it on a loop forever. You know, drive the numbers up. That is one way we could do it. You know. But you can actually, you know, watch it on Hulu, and then if you can, watch it on Hulu as opposed to on your Blu-ray or DVD, because if you watch it on your Blu-ray or DVD, Disney has no idea whether it's being watched or not. So if you can, watch it on Hulu if you have that. Yeah, we still do need over 21,000 signatures. That's right, Bad Man, for sure. So Alita is on Disney Plus in Canada, so that's pretty cool. Bad Man, I don't know. Do you guys get Hulu in Canada? I'm not sure. Anyway, that is what it is. We also have Rosa's Queen Studios Bust of Alita, and we want to get that to her as soon as it works out, as soon as the stars align. I suspect that'll be when the sequel is announced, and she'll probably want it. You know, she does want it. She's already told me she wants it. So, you know, and we'll have to work out the details of getting it to her, but we will get it to her any way she wants, even if it means I have to drive down to LA from Denver and put that thing in the back of my car. I will do that just to get it down there to her, you know. So or if she wants us to ship it to her, that's fine as well. You know, we'll do it any way she wants. After all, she is our queen, you know, so we have to do what she wants, as they would say. Just being a little cheeky there on that one. So anyway, it's in the box, and she wants it. We want to give it to her. It's an expression of our admiration, appreciation, and affection for our queen. And this is not a gift. This is an award from us. At least that's the way we are treating it. You know, to us, this is like the Oscars. you know, probably not as big a deal as the Oscars, but for us, it's pretty important. And we have the Alita Gaming Network going on. Once again, we tried to do a watch party on Monday. I know I logged in and I said, hey, everybody want to do a watch party or something like that. You know, nobody showed up, but that's okay, you know, because I know Spendrick's been under the weather here a little bit lately, and it's been a little bit on the later side for the folks in Europe. So, and we're going to watch A Million Miles Away. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I don't have a copy of it. I think Lottie might have a copy of it. But hey, we can watch anything. It doesn't matter. We just show up and, you know, just kind of impromptu like and start watching whatever, you know, we want. You know, we have watched, certainly we've watched Alita Battle Angel on it. We've watched The Trouble with Edward. We watched that. We watched Chariot. We watched Good Crazy, with all films that our queen has been in. And of course, I enjoyed every single one of those. So, because our queen is a great actor. She knows what she's doing, and she is really polished, man. She can really knock it out of the park in terms of acting.
I think I'm going to have to make a note or something on the watch party, because I'd meant to be there, and then because I've got repairs going on in my apartment and I've got to deal with getting my girlfriend to work and back, I just got completely sidetracked.
Yeah, well, I'm in almost the same boat you're in, because I had a leak spring in my house, you know, down here in the basement. Didn't completely flood because I turned everything off before it could do that. But, you know, I finally got my plumbing fixed and I got the electrical, you know, back in shape, you know. So the only thing now is to get the drywall. I got a section of drywall on my roof that needs to be, not my roof, my ceiling that needs to be repaired. But, you know, it's everything down here is functional now. My gym is a little bit, you know, kind of in disarray because I've had to move things around for the plumber and the electrician. But as soon as I get that drywall fixed, we'll be back to normal, I think. But anyway, if you say do fanfics, you know, you can upload that to the fan fiction channel. Oh, there's one of the, gosh, I forgot to put under the watch party there, I guess the voice channels, I forgot to put the Kansas bar. That's there. So anyway, but I'll have to do that later. But there is 3 voice channels: Lobby, Gaming, and Kansas Bar. If you do write fanfics, you can upload that, or you can upload the link to the fan fiction channel you see there. If you do artwork or you do videos, you can upload that to User Creations. Or even if you have something that is sort of off topic of Alita, you know, or maybe very loosely related to Alita, you can upload that too as well. You know, Matthew and I kind of watch this. We don't, not that we have to. I mean, the Alita Army has never put anything inappropriate on the channel. Everybody's just having fun with it. I checked it yesterday, and I think there was like 46 members. So it's real small. We're not really pushing it, you know, at all. So, you know, if you're nervous about your fanfic, let's say, or if you're not nervous about your fanfic, it doesn't matter about that. But I mean, let's say you are nervous and you don't want to just upload your fanfic to Archive of Our Own or something like that, and you want to get kind of a smaller audience so you can kind of get a feel for, you know, any changes you might have to do or something like that. You can upload that to our fan fiction channel, and then people will watch it. I know Lee's fanfic is in there, which, by the way, Lee, we want to have you back here relatively soon to continue reading. I guess maybe a couple of weeks or something like that, you know.
Okay.
I've already got a topic picked for next week, which is unusual for us anyway. But anyway, yeah, we do have voice channels. I know Vladi and Smendrick hang out in the gaming channel a lot. And we also have a watch party channel where, you know, we do what we absolutely have done several watch parties. So we've had some fun with that. And I know Maxie actually puts, MaxTac Jirai actually puts the links for the live streams for Radio Chaos in there. Chaos Nova does the same thing. I know I don't do it every week, but every now and then I'll put, or say every other week or something like this, I will put the link to this this stream in the live streams channel. So there's the link you see there below our little chibi Alita mascot. And you just click on it, you get the invite, you come right in. There's no approval that has to be done. It just brings you in. You do have to have a Discord username, but if you don't worry about it. It's free. You don't have to pay a thing, and you don't have to pay anything to be a member of the gaming network as well. You know, I just, you know, the Creek or Matu or Maxie or Lee or any of us that are on, we don't make any money on this. We're just doing this for pure love of the character for Alita. You know, we just want folks to have fun with it and, you know, just kind of enjoy themselves on our network here. So, any thoughts, Lee?
Doesn't seem to be much I can add. So,
okay. All right. Well, let's get to it. I guess you know, we're finally. You know, Bad Man, I appreciate you sending me a bunch of this manga. You know, so I do appreciate that a lot. You know, you know, I guess there was that one site that I was logging into. They took the Mars Chronicles down. So Bad Man graciously offered to kind of contribute here. So now we got the manga readings the first weekend in every month, or at least the day before Radio Chaos does their manga reading. So this one, chapter 18, Treasure Hunt. So let me pull that up. Okay, guys, hopefully y'all can see that pretty good. So anyway, here we are, chapter 18, and of course you see it says they're according to Martian legend. Now keep in mind this is fictional, so you know it's kind of the legend hasn't been established yet, you know, if it ever gets established. But according to Martian legend, mankind came to the planet far before the official records state. So this is basically, you know, I think in the manga it was like maybe the 22nd century that, or the 22nd century that I guess that the Earth colonized Mars. But anyway, it says it is a story of Alt 9, which is German, and it says the 9 fairy tales there. Their legacy is a secret treasure of Mars, and its mystery is about to be revealed. So anyway, there's the lead-in for it, and you can see Muster up there, Baron Muster, and I can't recall the woman's name here. She's a real bad person. I won't say the word. And anyway, they're kind of looking at this etching on the floor, I guess, here. And of course, Muster says, this is the entirety of the Golden Cane's message. And this over here, this guy over here on the left, I guess, we've tried changing the direction in electrical current, but this string constitutes only legible characters. So evidently it's almost like nonsense. They can't make out heads or tails. It's certainly most of it looks like English. I guess there is some hieroglyphics in it, but or some maybe characters from Wingdings or Webdings or something like that, and they can't interpret it, so they don't know what it is, so they don't know where the treasure is or what the treasure is or whatever. So finally, we see the story pick up, and of course, Muster says, or Baron Muster says, and have you deciphered its meaning, Dr. Isham? And he says, frequency analysis suggests, now that to me sounds like he's already saying no, but he says frequency analysis suggests that the part surrounded by the symbols at the beginning is likely meant to be numerals, but as for the rest, they don't know. And of course, Muster says, are you really that stupid, you know? And I guess Erica there, who's riding that guy, I guess Muster, killed this guy's wife and has kind of enslaved him, and he's in a bad way. And he gave this guy to Erica as her toy, so she's going down the dark path already, in that she's kind of, not, he's teaching her not to value human life, I guess, but you can see that she's, she's having fun, but he is not. So a pretty sad thing there. And then, of course, well, first of all, Erica, I guess, says they've figured it out, or I've already figured it out, she says. And I guess Muster says, oh, then write it for me, Erica, and of course you see all the numbers that were deciphered and all the characters up there. Can you explain how you arrived at this? Because she evidently wrote it down, so he could, so she could see it. Now, I don't know how, if an advanced civilization wouldn't be able to figure this out quicker. But, on keyboards on the computer, you got what they call the QWERTY keyboard. And, of course, the characters in the middle are A, S, D, F, J, K, L, semicolon. I know that because I had to take typing in high school. I just gave away my age, I guess. And if you shift them up, from the center, then it's a QWERTY. So, it's called QWERTY, I guess. And then what she says that the numbers, that they've just shifted the numbers up and kind of use that. So it's easy. They just type the numbers on the keyboard, but shift it over. And then, of course, the guy, I guess that doctor, he says, but that's so simple. It's just a type of Caesar cipher, which is the simplest kind of, if you can call it encryption, that's all it is. It's just, shifting numbers or, kind of moving things over and then, substituting characters. There are 3 instances of 2 in the code. This can't be converted to a number, or is that Z? I believe it's Z. And then I guess Erica's pet, the guy they're kind of looking at each other because I think he's the one that actually figured it out. And, I guess Muster there is, kind of looking at the doctor, and he says, you're from Elysium. Now that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because there's a movie called Elysium that Matt Damon's in. So you're from Elysium. I think it's a city on Mars in this case. Aren't you, doctor? And of course, the doctor says, yes, why? So the layout of keyboards is different around here. We use the QWERTZ design, so it's a little bit different. See, that keyboard, the Y is not where the Z is. The Y is down the lower left corner, and that's where I guess it's just slightly different. And of course they've just made that minor change, and a couple of the special characters look different. So he evidently didn't take that into account. So anyway, he says, haha. Even the good doctor can't match Erica. So anyway, I guess Muster's kind of proud of Erica now, I guess. My area of expertise is modern encryption theory. That's what the doctor says. These ancient methods aren't my forte. So, that's kind of like saying, hey, I'm kind of overthinking things. So, I don't worry myself with this simple stuff like this, Besides, why are the N and the W still in the original code? Well, it's just the way it works out, I guess. And Erica says, damn, Jan figured that one out. And he says, yes, that was me. Now, damn Jan is her pet. She rides him like a horse, and he's supposed to serve her, I guess, And I can't remember that woman's name there on the lower left corner. Bad man, Zoe. Okay, that's right. Thank you, bad man. She says, huh, then speak. So anyway, she's kind of full of herself, I guess. And then he says, I figured it out from the, I guess that there's symbols like the male symbol and the female symbol. And the male symbol, that's the one with the circle with the arrow going sideways, going to the, up to like the, I guess, 45-degree tilt from the circle. But anyway, from that symbol in astrology, this is the symbol of Mars. In other words, whatever started with the that symbol might refer to coordinates on Mars. N stands for north and W stands for west. Now, see, that's pretty simple, and that doctor couldn't figure that out. But DamnJam figured it out pretty easy. So, Muster says, I see 70 degrees, 12 minutes, 57 seconds north, 33 degrees, 14 minutes, 36 seconds west. So that's basically Martian longitude and latitude. Their coordinates. What I didn't understand, or rather what I don't understand, are the numbers in the, and then there's another symbol. It looks like a circle with two like tails coming out of it, symbols. And of course, Zoe says, I have a good idea on that one. There's a feature in the second volume of Clausewitz on war that other editions don't have. The symbol, the liberal use of that symbol, the one with the kind of the circle with the two like tails coming out of it, symbols. And my guess is that the numbers and the symbols refer to something in this book. Looks like Dom Kriege, I guess Swy. So it looks like the second volume of something called Dom Kriege, which is, I guess, the war, I guess is the way that is, in German. Funny how, I guess, Yukito Kishiro is so interested in German, isn't it? Anyway, the doctor says, I see. Then that might be the cipher that solves the second half of the code. So anyway, they're going through the paperwork and stuff like that. If my theory is correct, that means this code is, and of course, that Zoe, kind of gets in DamnJam's face, I guess, because she's pretty intimidating. You're smarter than I thought. My opinion of you is improved, and I bet his thought is, oh, gee, thanks. Yeah, the section symbol. Thanks there, bad man. That's pretty cool. That's that little symbol with the O with the two tails coming out of the top and the bottom. And of course, DamnJam says, I was just trying to help Erica with advice. And of course, she screams, get your dirty hands off him, Zoe. And of course, Zoe says, what, are you jealous? Kind of like she's almost like she's hugging him. She's got her hand on his cheek and all that. Oh, she's an evil thing, isn't she? That woman, Zoe. And of course, Erica. Now, I tell you, this is Erica as a child. You wouldn't want to piss Erica off as an adult because she will definitely kill you, without a hesitation. I mean, she's not like Alita, she would kill you without any compunction whatsoever, just do it, And, my thought would be that when Erica grows up, if Zoe is still around and then she pisses Erica off, that's going to be a big problem for Zoe. Anyway, Zoe says, why, you selfish little bitch, like that. So anyway, and of course, DamnJam's really sweating it out. He's got this woman who is, Zoe, who's, I guess, Baron Muster's right-hand person, I guess. And I don't think they have any romantic relationship or I wouldn't think anybody would want to have a romantic relationship.
I don't remember too well, but I think Zoe, wasn't she kind of sadistic?
Yes, very sadistic.
So yeah,
yes.
Having her hanging on you is not something you want.
Yeah, that's not something you want. Yeah, of course, AKA said Zoe was Zoe is was the bully of the playground, is what he's saying, So anyway, and there's Bad Man telling us that, of course, that symbol, that kind of O with the two tails coming out of the top and bottom is a section symbol. Okay, so yeah, I appreciate that, Bad Man, a lot. So anyway, yeah, why, you selfish little bitch, she says, And of course, saying that to Erica, that may come back to haunt you eventually when she grows up. So, because Erica's kind of she's psychotic, or at least she becomes psychotic, and I wouldn't want to mess with her, not like that.
Her hinges come loose.
What's that?
Her hinges come loose.
Her hinge has been loose, yeah. Absolutely, Anyway, we cut to a picture of a landing craft there, spacecraft coming into Mars. And of course, you know, there's someone there talking to her. You know, I can't see that. That might be Damn Jan again. It says, "Come on, Erica, cheer up." And Erica, you know, is looking out the window. "You shut up." You know, I saw the look on your face when Zoe was all over you. Yeah, I saw it too. It wasn't the look of love, was it?
No, that was not a.
Yeah, that. Of course,
yeah, I think Erica was badly misreading his expression.
I think so. I mean, his expression was actually total terror, is what it was. You know. So, anyways. You know, Damn Jen says, "I am your servant, Erica. I would never open my heart to a woman like her." And then, of course, Erica softens up a little bit. "Damn Jan, you know, well, would you make a promise with me then? When I grow up, you have to marry me." So there's a surprise. And he goes, "Huh?" Like that, you know. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd want to marry Erica. God Almighty, she, you know, you'd be careful falling asleep around her. You might have some parts missing after a while, you know. Then, of course, they locate the section or the place on Mars where these coordinates are actually located. What you know, where it indicates, it says the coordinates are in the void in Acetalia Planatia. Close to the North Pole. Satellite photos just show the area as an empty plain. I can't imagine finding any treasure there. And of course, I guess Baron Mustard looks kind of confused, mad, you know, upset or whatever he is. And
Not
of course, yeah, that's right. Pissed, I might be a good word. So anyway, Erica, and then of course Zoe says, "Erica's solution must have been wrong. I'm sure of it," she says. You know, I don't like this Zoe person. I don't like her at all. But anyway. And then I guess it looks like Baron Mustard, you know, kind of slaps her, but you know, I guess Zoe looks at him and said, "God, that was weak." You know, I mean, it's like it didn't even affect her. So he's obviously not in really good shape at all. He's pretty bad off health-wise. And of course, she says, "Lord Mustard, hit me harder. Please hit me," she says. "Enough of your opinions. If your body weren't already ruined, I'd have crystallized you and put you in my gallery by now." And then, of course, she falls in front of him and kneels in front of him. "I'm sorry," you know, this kind of thing, you know, just kind of being sycophantic with, you know, with Baron Mustard. He's pure evil himself. "Listen, you must not allow others to suspect that I'm weakening, especially Erica." So he's already starting to, I guess, you know, get some kind of respect for Erica because he sees the potential in her, I guess. And that's a wise thing, you know, not to piss her off, you know. Anyway, this doctor says, "Baron Mustard, I've solved it. I've got the entire solution." And then, of course, Zoe says, "You're certain?" The numbers between the section symbols do indeed correspond to pages of the war. I found the Roman numeral ALS 1, 2, and 3, and the letters F, E, and G. I theorize that this was an Enigma decryption key and put it into the simulator. Look at the results, you know. So anyway, he's, you know, I think he's kind of figured it out using the computer, I guess. So anyway, Baron Mustard looks at it, takes the paper, and says, "Well, the eagle pecks the eye of the skull." There's a mental image I could have done without. Anyway, offer up the dancing cane, you know. So, why it sounds like it's right out of Poe. You know, he's referring to Edgar Allan Poe, which I guess even in the 22nd century, they knew who Edgar Allan Poe is. That's cool. "Well done, Dr. Hisham." Ha ha, it says, "It's like the treasure itself is calling for me." Yeah, that sucker is so demonic. I don't like him. So anyway, they get in this vehicle and, you know, start riding. That vehicle looks curiously like the one from The Martian, doesn't it? That movie. you know, kind of a portable lab or something, or portable environment, you know, container or something like that, or vehicle.
They're designed for use on
I'm sorry?
pressure or low atmosphere environments.
Yeah, you definitely got to do that, because they haven't actually terraformed Mars, and something like terraforming Mars, that'd probably take 1,000 years, would be my guess. You know, although this is an area I know a little about. But
I think it would also require doing something about the lack of magnetic field too.
I think so. You know, they could probably get an atmosphere on it, but what they would have to do, given that Mars doesn't have a magnetic field, what they would have to do is they'd have to continuously keep, you know, producing air, breathable air, over and over and over, and they would have to do that at a rate greater than the air escapes from Mars, because the solar wind from the sun is going to be bombarding the planet and stripping the atmosphere where they're trying to repopulate it with air. So
that's why I was saying they would have to put a magnetic field on. There's no way you're going to be able to do that without some kind of hyper advanced technology.
Holy crap. Yeah. I mean, imagine having to, because I forget how many millions of tons or more, billions even, of tons of atmosphere would be stripped in a single day without an atmosphere. To be able to reproduce that in a greater, you know, amount, you know, at a greater frequency, that's technology that's going to be, that they'd be better off, like Lee said, to come up with a way to get some kind of magnetic field around Mars, you know, as opposed to trying to reproduce. Oh, there's Angelus. Angelus is here. Good day, mate.
Hey.
How's it down there in Bris Vegas down under?
Ooh.
Well, we haven't seen any ooh yet, you know, unless you think Zoe has ooh, which I don't. I mean, she's evil. But anyway, so anyway, you see, I don't know who this guy is. Bertha.
Also, it's Eli, but she's got.
Well, yeah, this is not Eli. Yeah, this is Zoe. But yeah, Eli has ooh, but she's also evil. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to mess with her. So anyway. And anyway, this guy, I guess they got code names for the vehicles. And Bertha to Anton, scan the service from above and send over the data. And of course, you know, she's also says, keep an eye out for anyone who might be approaching. So anyway, I guess I got somebody in that ship that's kind of monitoring things and trying to, you know, kind of.
Yeah, I would imagine they've got like a crew for those vehicles.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah. And of course, you know, the person on that ship says, Anton here, copy that. So anyway, she's ordered him to kind of, watch out for him or something like that to make sure nobody sneaks up on him, I guess. Okay, and then here they are. It's all of them, I guess, wearing, spacesuits. But anyway, where the eagle pecks the eye of the skull. That's, once again, that's a mental image I could do without. Offer up the dancing cane, you know, so look for anything that might be an eagle or a skull. So anyway, they start going through the area. You got a guy there with a metal detector, a couple of guys with shovels. They're kind of doing their thing. And of course, Erica says, it might be buried under the sand. Be thorough, you know, or I guess that's her that says that. Might be Mustard. Anyway, as they're continuing to look at that, and of course they get that portable environment vehicle right there where they can, you know, stay in there where it's got an atmosphere. But a week passed without any discovery. So it looks like they're on a wild goose chase, as we used to say. And of course he slams his fist down, Mustard does. Why can't we find anything? Did we interpret the text wrong? And of course Erica says, sigh, this is so boring, damn Jan. And he says, do you think the treasure of Mars is real, Erica? And she says, I don't know. The code could have just been a game that someone in the past made up for fun. And he kind of laughs, haha, you're quite the little realist, you know. So, you know, Erica she's kind of mature, even in an evil way eventually, but she's sort of mature for a little girl like that, you know. Anyway, yeah, he says, "Hey, back to work over there." Somebody, I guess that might be. I don't think that's Mustard. That's probably one of his minions.
I guess orphans often are.
Especially one that's been through what Erica's been through.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, you got the vehicle up there with Anton. Anton to Bertha. We've got an emergency. And of course, I guess Zoe says, "This is Bertha. What's the matter?" "Big trouble, Mom." Mom? She is this guy's mom? Really?
It's probably British or something. Sounds like
It could be, or Australian. I think you guys say mom as well, don't you, Angelus? I'm not sure.
We do. Mum.
We say here in the U.S., we say mom, but we understand what mom is. So
it might be his version of ma'am.
it could be. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, she is in a position of authority.
Yeah.
I
Absolute
always thought it was
authority.
just like an abbreviation of mother. That's why
Yeah,
they have it MOM.
Yeah. That's right. Could be. Anyway, I guess I don't know who that is on the surface. Could be a different person. Anyway, it's a boob. Huge dust storm rolling in from the southwest. It's heading straight this way. So anyway, on Mars, they have these dust storms that, kind of in some cases will cover the entire planet because the atmosphere is so weak around Mars. It's like 0.6% of the atmospheric pressure on Earth. So, I mean, it's actually closer to being like the moon than it is the Earth. I mean, there's just really no what detectable it is, but there's no real atmosphere there that you could actually take advantage of and breathe, and certainly no oxygen, so you couldn't do that. But what'll happen on these guys, I'm gonna regale you with my former physics major stuff, when I was took astronomy. But anyway, with Mars, they can get these dust storms that will cover the entire planet. Now not all of them do that, but it's depending on the kind of I guess the severity of the dust storm itself or whatever, it could cover the whole planet. Now this one I'm not sure it does that, but anyway, this Anton individual right here has just warned Zoe or Bertha, hey, there's a dust storm coming your way. And then one of the guys that are searching for the treasure, "Withdraw, we're pulling out. Anton, collect Bertha at the rendezvous point and take off, then set course for home." And of course, Anton says, "This is Anton, roger that." So anyway, you see they're actually kind of driving as fast as they can away from the dust storm. And Mustard is pissed. He says, "No, you must not call off the search for the treasure." And then Zoe says, "Lord Mustard, you have to give up on it. We can't withstand a haboob," which is that big dust storm. And of course, they're driving fast and all that stuff, trying to stay out in front of it, as you can see there in the lower two panels. And then Erica, looking out the windows, "Look, damn Jen, it's a jinn." I guess in the Middle East, they would call these dust storms the jinni, I think, or jinn.
Well, I think she's referring to the twisters that are forming.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's well, I guess jinn, would be more like demon too, wouldn't it, in Arabic, I guess. Anyway, jinn. The jinn of Mars are furious. So these are, you're right, Lee, they're tornadoes, I guess. Now, I would say one thing about this is that, a windstorm or a tornado or everyone else, genie, that's right, AKA. Thanks for that. Yep. But the thing about the tornadoes and so forth and windstorms on Mars's atmosphere is so weak that I'm not so sure that they are in all that big a danger, except for the fact that the dust that is flying through the air could get clogged in their machinery. That might be a huge problem for them, But you know, in terms of the power of the wind blowing and all that, it's just enough to move the dust. It's not enough to really, you know, cause a lot of physical damage or even lift things that are of any kind of consequential weight, you know. But anyway, I guess that would kill the story for sure, you know. So anyway, Erica says, look, damn Janet, says Jin. The Jin of Mars are furious, so tornadoes. This is Anton. Dust devils are keeping me from landing. You have to change the rendezvous point. So anyway, that you know, I guess the vehicle's still speeding, trying to get away from this storm, and of course this aircraft right here is still, you know, kind of flying around it and trying to pick them up. And then, of course, I guess whoever's driving this thing, which I think is this individual here, says, Roger that, changing location. So anyway, I guess they fix it. Damn, what's with these dust devils? You know, they're chasing after the vehicle like wild dogs. And then, of course, a lightning flash happens. Oh, a flash, you know, Erica says. Amazing. There's lightning going off inside the sandstorm. Now, that's not really all that unusual, really. You know, I guess maybe he just hasn't ever seen that, probably. But yeah, lightning can, anywhere you got material moving like that where it causes friction, it can build up static electricity and you can get lightning. I mean, that's not all that unusual, really. But maybe the damn jam, it's unusual. And then, of course, I guess the dust storm hits the ship that Anton's on.
Lightning strike on it.
Yeah, or a lightning strike, rather. It hits it. And that's a problem, you know.
Especially
and
when it takes a wing off.
Yeah, definitely. You know, well, taking a wing off of an aircraft is always a bad thing, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you see Erica and Damjan are looking out the window, and so is Zoe and whoever that other individual there is, probably one of the guys that were searching for the treasure. They're like having a what we would call an oh shit moment. That is what they're having, you know. And anyway, you know, I guess the guy that's piloting, Anton, says, "Mayday, mayday, engine down," you know. So anyway, he's going to crash land. And he does crash, you know, and then of course that means that now the environmental vehicle there, that special thing that traverses the surface of Mars, they're on their own now. You know, they can't be carried away. And think about it, they are thousands of kilometers from where I guess you would say civilization is, because you remember it's near the North Pole. So they, you know, kind of driving something like that. I don't know if you saw the movie The Martian. It's very similar to that one, the way it looks anyway. But basically, those things can't travel all that far. Now, in The Martian, he kind of rigged things up to where he could charge his batteries, you know, during the day or something like that. And he would drive at night, charge his batteries during the day, and drive, you know, where he could drive like 2,000 kilometers or something like that. But these guys don't have that. They don't have all those, you know, I guess photoelectric panels that they can actually, you know, charge up the batteries they have in that thing, because that thing runs on batteries. It doesn't run on gasoline or petrol. Excuse me there, Angelus. It doesn't run on petrol. It doesn't run on diesel. I mean, it's, you know, it's electricity and on batteries, and those batteries are going to run out. So these guys, as we would say, are screwed, you know. And of course, one of the guys, that doctor, oh no, you know, this can't be, you know. And of course, Muster, he's the demonic individual he is. Don't you get it, you fool? After laughing, you know, he's laughing, you know. And of course, Zoe says, "What's so funny, Lord Muster? We just lost our only way home." And of course, he says, "The goddess of fate is making her will known. There shall be no retreat from her clutches until we find the treasure." This guy here is, he's got OCD or something, or just absolutely, you know, just absolutely lost it, you know, too obsessive. Yeah, that's right, bad man. if Anton would have just, you know, kind of bugged out, got away from there, and then came back for them later, you know, then, you know, everything would be cool. But I guess maybe they were just flying, you know, trying to keep up with the vehicle and on the ground and didn't want to leave them and stuff like that, I guess. And that is the story, folks.
More.
So, yeah, the treasure hunt is kind of, well, it's kind of taking a turn for the worse, it looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure there is any treasure to begin with. You know, Mustard maybe thinks there is, you know, but anyway, they just keep, you know, it starts out with, let me go back to the beginning with go all the way back here. You know, of course, this is the whole thing right here. And of course, you see Erica's riding Damn Jam like he's a horse, you know, because he is her servant, you know, and she is his mistress. Now, that's the youngest mistress I ever saw. But anyway, she's in charge of him, you know, and he's his only purpose in life now is to serve Erica, you know. So anyway, that's weird, you know, an adult serving a kid like that. But anyway, you know, they figure out the code, I guess, and they, you know, they kind of get a plan of action on trying to think what is existing as a treasure. And then of course Zoe, you know, kind of gets all up in Damn Jam's jam, as they would say, and it pisses Erica off to no undoing. You know, get your dirty hands off him, Zoe. You know, like that. And of course, she says, "You selfish little bitch." You know, that's and of course, she is pissed. Erica is, you know, but look at Damn Jam. Like I said, that's not the look of love right there. That's oh shit.
That's
She's
the look
gonna
of a
kill
man
me.
who would absolutely want to be somewhere else right about then.
That's right, man. You know, he wants no part of this lady right here, and he shows it, you know. And then of course Erica's all jealous and everything. And come on, Erica, cheer up. You know, he says, "Shut up." You know, she's pissed. You know, showing some jealousy there, I guess. You know, I saw the look on your face when Zoe was all over you. Yeah, well, you didn't interpret it right. That's for sure. You know. So anyway, Damn Jam reassures her that, you know, he's not interested in her at all, and I don't blame him. And you know, he only wants to serve Erica. You know, and of course, Erica, being a kid, you know, she doesn't understand a lot of things yet. But when I grow up, you have to marry me. What's that?
I was just thinking something. If that treasure could be something very massive, and maybe it's causing some kind of environmental alterations in that part of Mars, and they got caught up in it.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, you look at the cane that was used to hold the code for it. That
Yeah,
seems like something pretty advanced.
yeah, it does.
And that's just the key to find it. Who knows what the treasure itself might be? There's the possibility that it's something large, massive. Maybe it's even got some kind of defense system.
Might even be like, remember a couple of episodes ago where I guess Mustard and Erica fell into that spacecraft that was buried in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It could be something like that, couldn't it? Anyway, Erica, you know, she's a little girl. And she's kind of feeling sweet toward Damn Jam now, you know, which is understandable. And then she said, "When I grow up, you have to marry me." And he's like, "What?" So, you know, out of the fire and into the frying pan, looks like. So anyway, anyway, they go after it, of course. And of course, I guess Zoe figures out that Mustard is not he's weak. You know, he's not doing well. You know, his health is failing.
His tumors are taking a toll on him.
Yeah, I think so. That is weird, those tumors. God. So anyway, they go after the treasure and they search for it, and they're not finding it after a week. And then of course the sandstorm comes up, you know, and kind of forces them to move. And of course then the craft that this Anton individual was on crashes. I guess it gets struck by lightning, and it crashes, and now they're out there in the middle of nowhere, in a place that is worse than the outback, right, Angelus? On Mars, and they're pretty much, for all intents and purposes, they're pretty much screwed, I think. And of course, there it's crashing, and then Muster, he thinks it's funny. Ha ha! It crashed. Now we have to look for the treasure. What a dumbass is my thought.
I don't think he's laughing about the ship crashing. I think he's basically convinced that there's some sort of forces of fate that's forcing them to stay there until they find the treasure. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to allude to. But anyway, thanks for that, Lee, because I kind of got that mixed up. But anyway, he's ha ha ha. What did he say?
Don't you get it?
Goddess of fate.
The goddess of fate is making her will known. There will be no retreat from her clutches until.
So he thinks, the goddess of fate's on my side. Now we're going to find the treasure. Yeah. Dumbass, you're out there in the middle of nowhere on Mars. You've got limited electricity, and certainly you're going to run out of air. Of course, for him, it probably doesn't matter because he's going to be dead soon anyway. So. Hey, X-Man 577, it's good to see you again, buddy. I hadn't seen you for a while. How's it going? So anyway, of course, Zoe is, what's so funny, she looks like she's pissed,
Oh, she doesn't seem to share his outlook on the situation.
No, she does not. So, well, anyway, that's the story, guys. I guess... So what's your thought about that? Anybody, now Angelus, you read the Mars Chronicles, right? Because I think, were you and I reading that? We were just reading the original manga, I think Angelus has read more of the Mars Chronicles than I have because he's read volume 10. And the Creek has not yet. I think Erica has some real feelings. I mean, certainly she's immature, she's a child, but I think she has real feelings for Damn Jam, doesn't she?
It's possible because he has, even if it's coerced, he's shown her real kindness.
Yeah, I think so.
Kindness of sort, at least. He's been kind to her.
Yeah, I think so.
But she hasn't seen a lot in her life.
No, she has not. Her and Alita, or Yoko at this point, have had a pretty rough upbringing. I guess Erica killed her parents.
Well, she was brutalized by her parents.
Yeah, brutalized by her parents, exactly.
Her mother is the reason she's wearing that eye patch.
Yep. Well, I certainly wouldn't condone that if this was real, but it's kind of understandable in some way, isn't it? I mean, the parents had the dog eat her hand off, holy crap, how cruel is that, That's pretty bad, But anyway, you see there, she's kind of abusing him a little bit, riding him like a horse,
Well, it's been normalized for her, so that's what she's seen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
normal way of acting at this point. I mean, having Baron Muster be the primary source of influence on her outlook, she's not going to get a healthy outlook. I mean, she already had a broken worldview to begin with, and now it's just going to get worse from here.
Yeah, that's right. And that's going to play into the fact when she sees Alita in the future, too, at that monument. All of this comes together like that upbringing that was less than optimal for sure, So, What's your take, Angelus?
He's either muted or he's AFK.
Oh no, I'm let's just say I don't pay too much attention to for lack of better terms, all the political sort of nuances of stories.
Yeah.
I'm more of a simplistic, ooh, look, pretty pictures and ooh woo kind of guy.
Yes. Well, we got some woo on the screen there on both sides of the image in the middle. So, and I guess Erica, even as a little girl, she's cute, you know. But I mean, she's going to end up being evil. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
even when I first saw Baron Muster, when I saw the tumors and things, I already knew he didn't have long because that stuff's progressive.
Yeah, because that takes a drain on your system, doesn't it? Kind of drains energy from you.
Yeah, every single one of those tumors basically is like an extra head.
Yeah.
And it's putting more strain on his body.
Yeah.
And if he's got more of them forming as time goes on, that's even heavier load that his body's got to support. I
kind of agree with AKA here that AKA can't hate Erica. I don't hate her either, you know. I mean, I just realized she's had a rough life, and now she's got a bad influence on her life, you know. But when she and Yoko were together, she was protecting Yoko, you know, and they both loved each other, you know, it's like sisters, you know. So, yeah, you know, I just think she's a victim of circumstance, Erica is, you know. Now she is still. That doesn't mean she's not going to be evil when she becomes an adult.
I found it unsurprising she turns into a monster.
Yeah. Well, for my idea here on this, my reaction to this is this Muster, Baron Muster. He's, as they would say down out west here, he's half a bubble off the plum. That's for sure. You know, in other words, he's crazy. You know, and probably his condition is contributing to that. You know, he doesn't have.
Yeah, probably at the very least. Plus, there were some other circumstances.
Yes.
That surrounded that drove him off the deep end.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when I first saw Erica in Last Order, I did kind of hate her, but after reading the background of what kind of childhood she had grown up, I was like, yeah, there's no way she wouldn't turn into a monster.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. This is pretty much all I got today in terms of the stream.
Well, it is a holiday today, so
for us. And there's not going to be a Stammtisch today too, because I got a family thing going on, you know, afterwards.
I do too. Actually, I got to head up to my girlfriend's because we got some friends coming over for July 4th.
Yeah, and as they would say in German,
happy July 4th to all my American friends.
We appreciate it there, Angelus, a whole lot. And for those of you in Germany, this day is called Befreiungstag. In other words, a Freedom Day. So anyway, but you're right. You know, that's, we appreciate Angelus for sure. Any other topics you guys want to chat about?
Nothing really comes to mind, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Did we miss anything? I don't think so. I think we covered chapter 18 pretty well.
Yep.
And as you can see from that center image there on the screen, Alita does love her Uncle Creek, and that's because he wants a sequel like she does. And if you got a problem with that, there's that plasma weapon you can deal with. So yeah, if you want to face that down, go ahead and be my guest. Here's our queen right here. And of course, our queen is a fantastic, awesome, magnificent actor. She is great, man. I'm telling you, she is really good. She is #1 in the Creeks book in terms of being an actor, you know. I also want to give a shout out to Elle Lamont and Jesse Fisher because they brought Screwhead to life. And as I say every week, I want to see Alita and Screwhead team up in the sequel when Alita takes on Joshigon, you know, because that'll be because I think Elle and Jesse do deserve, you know, to be in the sequel themselves, you know, particularly like Elle in terms of not having any speaking lines, you know. Of course, now Elle said that well, you know, Screwhead's a woman of action. She doesn't need words. You know, I think was something.
A woman of
that,
few words.
Yes, for sure. You know, and of course, you know, of course, that Rose is going to be in the sequel. But all three of these people are really good at what they do. And it would be a big bonus, you know, in the sequel to certainly have Rosa in it, because Rosa is just awesome. She is really, really good. And
Yeah,
of
I
course,
can't see having Alita without Rosa.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do it. Yeah. I think we've had talked in the past on streams that if somehow Rosa couldn't do it or something like that, which I think she's going to do it, you know. But I mean, if something happened that maybe her career, she got something else, maybe another movie or whatever it was, and they got someone else, I would still watch Alita, but I would not. I'd be really disappointed it wouldn't be Rosa, you know. So, and of course, Elle and Jesse are really good at what they do. So, Jesse's the most badass stunt woman Elle's ever worked with, so she said. You know. Tomorrow on Radio Chaos, we're going to have another manga reading, and this will be Gundam Fallen Angel, Ouroboros Fight 6, Dreams and Steel. So Maxie certainly is going to be the host on this. I think Angelus only hosted one of these manga readings. I think that's true. And in Angelus, it's only been one that you hosted, and I think that's because Maxie was you know, having his issue
probably
with his heart. So, yeah. So anyway, we're going to have fun on this because I love manga readings, and you know, they're pretty neat. And of course, we definitely want to have Lee back here in a couple of weeks to read chapter 9, 10, 11, or whatever we get through. You know, on your fanfic, because you know, even though I haven't been able to get to your fanfic in the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed reading it a lot. You know, it's really
glad to hear that.
It's really good. Yeah. We are the Alita Army. We are the most positive fandom on the internet. We are Alita's advocates. You know, we are fighting for those sequels. We support Alita and Rosa passionately and positively. And of course, Disney, we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. You know, give us a sequel, and we're going to stay here no matter how long it takes. We're going to stay here, and we're going to be advocating for the sequel. Why is this image here? Well, that image is there because I like it. And of course, I'm the producer, stream manager. Angelus and I co-host this. I'm also the janitor, the chief cook and bottle washer as well, you know. So, and to paraphrase Gruwishka, I'm only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And of course, we're here for not only our girl, but we're here for our queen as well. We want her to be Alita in the sequel. We want that, Disney. You hear us? So that only leaves one thing left to do, and that's the call to action. 1, 2, 3.
Fill those sequels,
baby. Well, that was pretty bad, but that's okay. We'll see you next week on the Alita Livestream. We will see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos.
Take care,
bye.
Everybody.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.